What up, guys? We in Arrakis right now. I am Paul Atreides. Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis. I'm not gonna scream that right now because my voice is cooked. I'm currently sort of sick, recovering from a cold. Because guys, if you don't know, guys, I've been trying to get into acting. 12 weeks in, got into acting school. Pretty much zeroed out on my money. Got a job as a mover last week. I've been working a lot, and I think I've just been sick from all the dust and environments that I've been in, and it's physical labor, right? Like moving, we gotta move these refrigerators. We gotta move these color TV. Moving shit, right? Moving shit all the time. In the last 2 weeks, ish. So yeah, my body is tired. Body's worn down. And guys, it's got me thinking about the game, how I can be doing better in this acting game. Because right now, you guys are working your 9 to 5 or working retail or just hustling in some kind of way. Respect to just any way that you can make money, but a lot of the jobs that people might have right now aren't that enjoyable. And fair enough. That's life. That's what a lot of people do to just make their dreams come true. So they just work jobs that just pay the bills until they do the thing that works, until the thing that they want to work actually works. And that might be 2 years, that might be 20 years, right? It just depends on your surface area luck, how you can make yourself a bit luckier in those different scenarios. That's the way that I view it anyway. So in that time, you probably have to work some shit jobs that you don't really want to do. And hey, man, I'm grateful for my daily bread. Is this something I want to do forever? No. It's money in my pocket right now. But when I get home, I'm dog tired. If you've ever worked labor, which I've only worked a less intensive labor job, which is like sort of landscaping. I've never been this tired since my sales days, since I was like working 100% commission, 12 to 14 hour days, 10 sales calls type of day, which that's when I was exhausted. I'd be going to bed like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and get off calls, and I'd just be done. I'd be toast. Didn't go out, didn't drink, didn't date, didn't do anything except take sales calls. And it worked for a period of time, but I just got so burnt out with it. And what I'm noticing is I'm putting less effort into my monologues, less effort into writing my feature film. Guys, we're at about 50 pages now into the feature film, which I'm gonna try and go for 100 because it's a sports movie, so there's a lot of like montage type of sequences or just like emotional kind of shot sequences. So I don't know how long it'll actually end up being in length. But I'm just so tired, and like in the morning I'm waking up like 6:30. I'm starting at 8:15, 8:30. I read the Bible, I meditate and pray in the morning, and then I try and write for a bit, but there's not much. And then I come home at like anywhere between 3 and 6, and then I'm tired, and then my brain is kind of mush. So it got me thinking about leverage, right? And also one other thing is like with this type of job, I'm just not in the gym because I'm physically like last week, all I could do was like make dinner one day and just like fall into my bed. And now I'm sick. I think just from like just being like physically tired, right? So is the trade-off really worth it for what I want to be doing? It's probably not the right long-term fit, and that's okay. That's cool. That's life. But it got me thinking about, just trade-offs in general and the types of jobs that you want to be working when doing this. When I say you, I mean me, and I mean just on my path. But I need leverage, and one person I love and admire who's done this successfully is Arnold. I read Total Recall, his autobiography, and he had a landscaping company where he'd sell European bricks, and he'd go knock doors in LA and he'd just sell them. And him, Franco Colombo, he had his own fitness company. He had his own supplements and training programs. And he, what else did he do? I feel like he had one other venture. Oh yeah, he bought a real estate property, and he house hacked, and he at a 6-unit building, and he lived out of one of them, and just the rest of them paid the rent. So like, I appreciate the leverage that he's applied, essentially getting more for your time instead of like just sheerly an hourly wage, just sheerly an hourly or salaried rate. You're maximizing your time, because then he could spend the rest of his time working out and work on his monologues, trying to fix his accent or change his accent, and trying to evolve as a human being, learn more about business, about sales, about, you know, developing his products or hiring people or building his business, like all these different things, right? When you're trapped in the hourly thing, where like, I get paid this much per hour, this is all I do, this is what I get paid, there's no leverage, right? There's no leverage in a 40-hour work week. And this is something I've thought for a very long time. I've tried to do, you know, my own businesses, and then high ticket sales was a version of this. I just found it to be spiritually disconnected. So for a period of time, for the next few years, I'm going to have to work these different types of jobs, and I'll have to find something that fits. Especially during school, which I can probably reduce the course load a bit, because I did 2 years of university before I dropped out of psychology at Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo. Great city, Waterloo, if you've never been there. I love that city. Going down tomorrow. My sister's birthday this week, so we're doing that. We're gonna go get some Japanese, all-you-can-eat Japanese barbecue in Waterloo. It's gonna be crazy. But like, these types of jobs, if I am not energetic enough to actually put effort into my monologues, put effort into my writing, have time to work out, then that is a net negative. It increases the finances, of course, but it's a net negative in so many other areas of my life. That's a poor trade-off, right? This is how I've been trying to view money, and I have viewed money as a whole, where if everything in your life falls apart because you're pursuing money, that is a shit trade-off. Because if your relationship falls apart, you get divorced. If you don't spend any time with your kids, if you get fat, if your mental health is shit and you're not spiritually connected, if you don't have any community, and you just solo focus on the work, is that a good trade-off? Depends on the person. Depends on your life, on what you want to do. For me, I think that I got to find some other alternative routes of leverage until I could start making money with real film and TV acting. Because again, guys, you guys might have missed it, but that's the goal: be a real film and TV actor. Be a leading man. I hate to be picky, but that's what I want. That's what I envision. That's what I see, is leading eventually in TV and series and in stories that glorify God. That's what I see. That's what I want to pursue. And that might be a long time. But guys, if all these other areas are falling apart, if my discipline and willpower is bad to resist the bad food, if my cortisol is through the roof, my body is inflamed, it's a bad trade-off. That's another thing that I've been thinking a lot about, is the physique. Guys, I've been working out and I've been in the gym for about 6 years. I grew up as a pretty chubby kid. I've always had some body fat, and then I found self-help, and I just became super aggressive and, you know, a bro, if you will, psycho bro. You know, pretty much just worked out all the time. I was training to be a varsity basketball player, and I lost about 45 or 50 pounds, and I looked radically different. I grew my hair out. I grew a beard. I hit puberty pretty much at like 19 years old, and, you know, I looked radically different, and I suddenly was attractive. And that was like an interesting juxtaposition from where I'd been my entire life. So from that, I became obsessed with physique, and I had always kept to, you know, keto-ish diets. I'd gotten into bulking and cutting, trying to put on muscle mass. And now I feel like I've attained a certain level of muscle mass, which I'm pretty content with. I always think that there's room for growth, but you know, I'm about 6'4", about 220 pounds right now, and I feel like I'm probably 18 to 22% body fat, somewhere in there. And for the life of me, since I, even extreme diets and those types of things, eating like 1,500 calories, purely meat kind of thing, running all the time, lifting weights 5-6 days a week. Like I've tried literally everything. For the life of me, I've never had a consistently good six-pack. And I think that genetically, I've just always held body fat. Like around this little ring here. You can't see I got a coat, and I'm not going to take off my shirt in this random construction yard in which I'm recording. Sorry to ruin your day, guys, but yeah, I've never gotten to that like sub 10% body fat, and I feel like I'm close. I feel like I'm beginning to understand some things. I think that my inflammation has always been high because my cortisol has also been extremely high. And maybe just having this extra body fat as a kid, it stunted my testosterone development, or just, testosterone production as a man in general. In general, I feel like I have a pretty high energy, libido, like just feel pretty decent a lot of the time. Vitamin D deficiency and just nutrient deficiency was something. But I think that there's something that I'm missing. And there's something that I just haven't been following. So I've just been trying to reset my metabolism a little bit. And, I was no carb for a little while. So I'm just trying to refeed my body some carbs and just figure it out. But, guys, I really want to make my fitness like a huge priority, because I know that even in like, modeling and commercial work, like just having looks, like if I lost 30 pounds, I'd probably look like Indian Jacob Elordi. Like just if I had like a good six pack, that's the type of frame muscle mass that I'd probably be left with. And man, I really want to do that. I really, really do want to do that. Especially I'm growing out my hair right now, trying to get that man bun back. Y'all know what's coming. You know what's coming. But I need to drop my cortisol, and I can't do that right now. And I can't train like I want to train if I'm working the job that I'm working presently. So I'm looking for other things, and I'm looking for other ways to make that happen. And I think I'm going to spend a lot more time researching it, but I think that there's some things causing a lot of inflammation in my stomach area, because, I got veins in my quads, veins in my calves, and, arm veins, like forearms, that type of stuff. So 95% of my body fat just sits in this little area, in my face, in my neck. And I feel like if I can hit that other gear, and I know that it's not found in like overtraining and just trying to completely rip it apart. I can do that. I feel like I have the discipline to do that, but it just hasn't worked time and time again. I need to develop a more patient approach. And I think a low cortisol approach, like a lower volume, high walking, like just kind of hit these same 3 meals every day for like 4 months. I feel like something like that. I still got to spend some time and work on it. But right now I got to figure it out. Because if I can have that type of physique that's like a main character kind of physique, I feel like that opens up a whole different gear for the typecast that essentially I'm qualified to do. Because, down the line when I'm like, in my late 30s, 40s, I'll probably want to bulk up. And then maybe, I don't know, having access to all the amenities that wealth can bring in my late 30s, early 40s, then I feel like I can pack on some more mass. But for now, I feel like there's a level of leanness that I want to achieve that I feel like would really do me some good and give me a new gear. And I know that it's possible. I know that anything is possible. Anything is possible. I've just never been like a six-pack kind of guy. And I think that genetics are probably a factor in that. Some guys just are born with it. And, that's how it is. They hit the gym for 2 years and then eat relatively okay, and then they just have an 8-pack. It's like, that's never been me. That's never been me. I've eaten the cleanest. I have been someone who's been in the gym consistently, and yet there's still like another gear. So I think that I'm missing something. I still need to figure out exactly what that is. I think my cortisol has been high. I think that my metabolism's been kind of fucked from the extreme dieting. But yeah, that's something I really want to make a priority here in the next quarter, the next 3 months. I want that to start to become a big part, because if I can still do my power hour of writing and monologuing every day, reading the acting books, and then building my list, and then lose some weight, get some sick headshots, I feel like I'd be ready to submit at the end of 3 months to some agencies in Toronto. And then what would be 3 months from now? April, May, June, end of June. I feel like, hey man, if I can have some sharper facial features, maybe a six-pack, and just be looking better, feeling better in 3 months from now, not be beat to hell at the end of a work day, hey man, then we're on pace. If I can get a bit more sleep, get these bags out from under my eyes, stop touching my face, get this acne off, hey man, I think that I could get accepted into a top acting agency. And then from there, I'll be there in September, trying to audition and build a demo reel, and maybe try and put my film together, or be part of a different film. You never know. Anything's possible, guys. But guys, I am grateful for you being here. I'm grateful for the progress that has been made. Grateful to God just for placing this desire on my heart, and for him guiding me on this path. And sometimes, book of Joshua, if you've never read scripture, I'll end with this. I said this on a different video too, but the Israelites, they were about to essentially take over Jericho, like the one of the biggest cities in Israel at that time. And they had the Ark of the Covenant, like essentially like the component of God that was like a physical piece of worship for the Israelites. And they came up against the Jordan River, and it was raging at the time. And all the elders were concerned, like, how are we going to do this? And essentially, all they had to do was take the first step and know that God was with them. And then God parted the river just as he parted the Red Sea. And they were able to take that step into Jericho. Eventually the walls fell, and they took over Israel. And then the Lord came. But guys, we're cooking. That's life though. All right, take it easy.